This week. Savannah, you start this week. Who's already
Done the remote stuff yet?
Is anybody doing remote school, online school?
Online school.
Anybody doing that?
Who starts
I
tomorrow?
know Waterford has. Oh, I know that.
Yeah. Yeah, last night we had chili and we lit some fall smelling candles, opened up the windows, let that breeze. It felt like fall. It felt like fall. And we got some caramel apples and some cider, and we just had like a fall day. We're ready for fall in my house. It's a good time. Pumpkins. You do online school, Jackson? Yeah, school has started. Who starts tomorrow on Tuesday? Who starts school on Tuesday? Savannah, you do. Who already started? The rest of you? Yeah. Either online, like Mr. Doug was talking about, online, or remote, or in person. So fall is here. It's crazy. So next week we're going to start a new series. We're going to redecorate the basement. We're going to have different characters come in, and we're going to talk about different things. But this week, this is the second time that I've done this. I did this last year, and I'm going to do it again this year because it's important to remember these people and to remember the heroes. And God is the ultimate hero, but where our other heroes, they kind of get forgotten about, kind of get taken. I think kind of taken advantage of at some points. Sometimes they just get forgotten about, and so it's important to remember these heroes. And coming up on Friday is the anniversary of what really, because we were on vacation in New York last year, and we saw a place which was a memorial of about way before who was born. You guys were all born after 2003. Anybody born? Okay, that's why. When were you born? 2010. Okay. 13. Okay, yeah, so way before you guys were born. Makes me feel a little bit older. But there were some men. There were some men, and they were some bad men. They were some bad men. And what they did was they took hold of a plane. They got in a plane, killed a couple different planes, and they kicked out the captain. They took over the planes, and they decided they were going to crash the planes into buildings. And they did for the most part. But what happened was, and after, this was in New York, and there was a couple other planes that were going to, yes, the Capitol, thank you, yes.
And then there was a plane that got downed in an airfield somewhere, I think.
Yeah, one landed in an airfield. Yes, Michaela.
9/11.
Yes.
Wait. When my sisters were in school when it happened, they all thought they were going to get attacked.
Yeah, I was in school. I remember I was in school when it happened, and it was crazy. I'm sure, like your sister, we didn't know what was going on. Mr. Doug, do you remember where you were?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I was at my aid station at Fort Campbell.
Yeah. Yeah, and everybody was kind of freaking out, not knowing what was going on, and we all saw it on the news. But what happened was, yes, a lot of people did. And in New York and in the Capitol,
Calm down.
when these planes hit the buildings, they blew up. But what happened on that is on the ground, heroes rose up and were doing whatever it took to rescue people. Exactly. The police, the firefighters, the ambulance people, all these heroes rose up, not thinking about themselves, but thinking about getting people out of these buildings. And that's what inspired Hero Sunday last year as we were walking around that. Exactly, yeah.
They saved somebody and then they died.
That's right. And so as we were walking around the September 11th Memorial last year in New York, that's what sparked this idea of
Humbling, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was very, very humbling, very surreal to think about.
You know how New York's so busy, and how it's all loud and busy, but in that place it's like dead quiet.
Yeah. Yes, Jackson. All right, buddy, there's one right out that door there. Yes, Elijah.
Athena's allergic to grass.
That's sad, man. That's sad. I don't know how she lives. But so as we were there, that's what made me do it last year, and then I'm like, it's good to remember these heroes, because when we think of heroes, we think about these guys. If my remote's gonna work, maybe. Usually when we think about heroes, Andrew, I may need you to work on that. It's froze up, it looks like. So when we say heroes, we usually think about the superheroes. That's usually where our mind goes off to. When I say we're going to talk about heroes, or we're going to have Hero Sunday, usually, Darren, usually you think about people like Iron Man, Captain America, Spider-Man, Hulk, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman from the girls, Robin, all these heroes, DC, Marvel, and all the girl heroes that are rising up, like Wonder Woman or Harley Quinn, because she's now a hero now all of a sudden. All these superheroes, but that's anyway. All these people come to our mind when we say the word heroes, and that's true. They're heroes in our imaginations, and we make cool movies and TV shows about them. But there's also biblical heroes. There's also historical hero. Who has a historical hero? When I say a historical hero, I'm talking about people like Abraham Lincoln, George Washington, Martin Luther King Jr., Thomas Edison. Anybody?
Probably a lot of people here will yell at me.
All these other people. Who does anybody have like a hero in history that you've learned about in school? I know you are just starting school, but maybe you've already heard. Yes, Savannah. Martin Luther King Jr. Yeah, he was a cool guy. I liked Martin Luther King Jr. He's one I wish I could talk to, especially now. Anybody else have a historical person today would like to talk to, or some?
Green is blue.
I know, it's because Andrew's working on the laptop. But those are not the heroes we're going to be talking about today. I may talk about Martin Luther King Jr. one day, because that's a good one to talk about.
That's a good one.
What's going on?
There's a lot of good historical heroes.
What's up with that?
Martin Luther King got
Just pop the battery out and just restart it.
Yep.
All right, well, the laptop is having a connection right now. So,
and he got in a comic.
he was a good man. So, we are going to talk about those heroes who were just one call away, who are always there to help when you call a 3-digit number for the most part, and who knows what that number is. When you're in trouble, when you're in an emergency, I'm looking for people raising their hands. Michaela, so raise your hand up really quick and you can say it again. Yes, Michaela, what's the number? 911.
Why is 9/11 have the same exact number?
Because
That's when they did it.
that's when they did it. They did it on September 11th, 2001. And they just refer to it as 9/11.
The number to get help is 911.
But you know what, though? That showed the promise of America, because a lot of people at that time, when the buildings were destroyed, a lot of people came together.
That's right.
So when you think about 9/11 and 911, it's all about helping one another.
That's right.
So if you want to think about it that way, that would probably be a better. Well, it's because we came together as a nation. We really did. We saw a bunch of people with flags in the car. I know you guys weren't all born yet, but I was.
That's right.
But I was, and I saw it, okay? I saw the patriotism, everybody who loved their country.
What age were you when you saw it?
Huh?
What age were you when you saw it?
I was, 2001, I was 21.
21?
Yeah, so, but I was in an aid station, I was in the military, so when everything went down, everything around us had to go, we had to show IDs to everyone, we had to, everything kind of bottlenecked where you could go in and out of post. We were looking at possibly being deployed somewhere overseas, which happened later, right? A lot of things changed after September 11th, a
Yep.
lot of things,
Yep.
and they still have them today. I know you guys are a little bit far removed from it, but it was a very somber moment in American history where we saw innocent people pass away like they did, and it was nonstop on the news. I still got images in my head every time I think about it of people that were on top of the buildings that decided they're not going to live, so down they went. Okay, I saw the buildings collapse, both of them. Right? Those people died, and when he's talking about these heroes, you had firefighters and you had policemen and you had other people running into the building to try to grab these folks to save them. And then
Even some family members trying to save their own.
anybody that was anybody was like, hey, I'm going to try to save these people in my office. Hey, I'm going to try to save these people
A lot of
in
kids
this
died.
car. Hey, I'm
A lot of people died.
going to save these
A lot
people.
of kids.
And then all of a sudden, the buildings came down, and they all perished. Over 3,000 people perished that day. And there were a lot of people that had complications because of all the asbestos that was in the air, all that smoke inhalation. They got affected later on. And they're now, some of them are now passed on, and some of them are still really sick. But the point I'm trying to make is these were heroes because they were thinking about that fellow person. Instead of their own life, they decided to run in there, no matter what, grab the person, come back out, go back in again. Some of you went up these flights of stairs, and I'm talking because the elevators were shut down, so they had to use the stairs. Now imagine a 50-story building, just saying, just using a number, and you're having to climb all those stairs to get up.
I'll get down.
Now think about it. They're going up these flights of stairs. They got all this gear on, right? So you got these firefighters with all this stuff on. You got these policemen with all this stuff on. And then they're trying to pick out a person that may be 200 to 300 pounds and drag them down the stairs. Because that person's life is priceless. And it meant more to them than their own. And correlating to Jesus. His life, for our sake, we were more precious to him than his own life.
I have a question. Did those people that crashed the plane, did they die?
Yes.
Yes.
Hallelujah.
Yes, they died. They perished. And then there was another plane that went down. It was supposed to hit the Capitol. Darren. It was supposed to hit the Capitol. But these people on the plane, they saw what happened because they were getting text messages from their loved ones over in other places. And they said, we're going to take this plane back over. It's not going to, they're not going to take anybody else down.
Yep.
And so what they did, so what happened, they crashed in the field because they weren't going to let the people crash the plane into the Capitol.
Right.
They took it upon themselves to say, hey, I know I'm going to be gone, but at least nobody else is going to die with me. Not in a bad way. All these people said, we're with you, man, or we're with you, ma'am.
It was a guy.
That's what they did.
Is it that other people died?
Yeah, that was a guy. Because when we were there, we heard that story, and it was a guy who wasn't he?
Flight 93.
Yeah, Flight 93. He got all these people gathered on his side, and he said, "All right, let's roll." And that's when they took the plane over, because that's one of the things.
That's what they did.
That's
And
what they did.
The guys in the cockpit that had taken it over, they literally, they off the captain and all that stuff.
No.
They're like, we're
Let's
not
go
going to be
after
able
it,
to
yeah.
do this because those guys are going to beat down that door, and so they went down.
Yeah.
Wait,
That's selflessness, by the way. All that is selflessness. When you're running into that building, that's selflessness. And that's what he's talking about with heroes. When Jesus died on that cross, that was selflessness. Because he's thinking about people 2,000 years in the future. He's thinking about you, me,
Yep.
all them upstairs, all of them all at once. That's selfless. I'm sorry, sir. Go
No,
ahead.
you're fine. I'm going to show you this memory verse, maybe. Maybe not.
I was trying to make
No.
sure you guys got
No, you're fine.
difficulties.
Come on. Let me show you this is going to be our memory verse for today. This, because we keep on coming back to this already. It's just John 15:13. Greater love has no one than this, that he lay down his life for his friends. And like Mr. Doug just said, these heroes on 9/11, on September 11th, they rushed in, laying their life down for friends and people they didn't even know for the most part. Just like Jesus laid down his life for you, all of you, and for Mr. Doug, for Andrew, for myself. Now the police, let me talk about the police for a minute. Because I'm not going to get too far into this, because the police have been under attack lately. And sometimes there are bad people who are police officers who do bad things, who do things they shouldn't do. And that is not, I'm not saying what those police officers do is okay. I'm not saying that. But we have to remember it's not all police officers are bad police officers. Because there are some who care about everybody. And I know one. This is one of our guys who did a video last year. His name is Matt. This guy is a police officer who I know personally, and I know he's a good one.
he's sheriff.
Yeah, he's a sheriff. He works for Oakland County. And this dude he's a hero. Because he would go in and he would save anybody no matter what. So I know the police, I'm sure you guys have heard, I'm sure your parents watch the news, and everybody's mad at the police. And the bad police officers, there's no excuse for that. But there are good police officers out there too who are, like that verse said, wanting and willing to lay their life down for people who they don't even know. The next one is, as we kind of talked about before, is a firefighter.
Again?
No, it's showing up some sort of message. A fire.
Why does it
Just have some Paw Patrol.
keep going away?
Yeah.
Why does it blue?
The fire department. Who would ever want to go into a burning building? A building's on fire, crumbling down. You would? Good for you, man.
To actually try to save
Just
the
to-
building, not just watch the flames go.
Not to just watch it. Yeah, not to go like, ooh, that's a pretty cool fire. Look at that thing burn. But to go in and actually try and save somebody. That's what the fire department does. They go in and they look at the room, like Mr. Doug said with September 11th. They go in and all that smoke can mess people up. I mean, Mr. Doug shared that people today were still having some health problems because of all that smoke that they inhaled and all that stuff that was in the air when the buildings were on fire. And that's what firefighters go through.
But they have a.
Well, they have a mask and stuff, but what if it doesn't work? I mean, they are risking their lives. Yes, they have protective equipment. Yes, they are prepared. But I still wouldn't want to go in a burning building.
No, you don't. I would.
You would to go and save somebody? Yeah. So this is this one right here. That's Tori. That's the firefighter I know. That's her cousin, Anna, I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's her name. We know both those guys. They go to our they go to our old church. They go to our old church. I don't know who that is, but they are heroes.
Now, you guys see all that equipment that they're wearing? All
Yeah,
that
that's
stuff?
her.
That's heavy.
Yeah.
They're heavy. Now imagine all of that.
All right, Darren.
But,
Stop.
but imagine now all that equipment plus another human being on top of them being carried.
Yeah,
Caleb, raise your hand if you have something to say.
Just saying, that's a lot.
that's a lot of stuff.
That's a lot of weight.
Yeah. When we went to a firehouse last 2 years ago, I don't know if you guys remember that or not. We gathered up some stuffed animals and we took them to that firehouse right over here. Does anybody remember doing that on a Wednesday night? Anybody? Probably not because it was 2 years ago. Okay. But we did that, and yeah, I know you do. But but we did that, and they talked about, like Mr. Doug said, how heavy this equipment is. And she has her jacket off, and they got it all unzipped because they're just gearing up right now. But heroes, because like he said, that's heavy stuff. That would be like if I had Andrew on my back and tried to save one of you guys at the same time. Because Andrew's heavy.
Imagine if I was the one that needed to be rescued.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they're anybody.
But that's what heroes do.
Yeah.
You know, because we talk about,
That one's your fault.
and not only did the tower fall, but so did the phone.
Yep. No, you're fine.
But there were no Wonder Women. There were no Wonder Women. There were no Batman.
Fake Robin.
They weren't, but they weren't there on 9/11.
Right.
They're not there when you call 911. What is there are police, firemen, and you got paramedics next.
Yeah.
People like that. Real heroes.
Yeah. So yeah, like Mr. Doug said, paramedics. There's the paramedics on, and also doctors and nurses, people who work in hospitals. Like Sarah and Emily's mom.
Like my mom.
Like your mom. Like Mrs. Linda Kidd. Like our sister. She's studying to be a doctor or a nurse. And these guys, yeah, like I said, yeah, like your,
To be a doctor.
like Sarah's mom, like Elijah's mom, like our sister.
Hey, if you guys got something to
They-
say, raise your hand. Instead of wording it
Or
out.
sit in your chair right there.
2020 has really put our paramedics and our doctors and nurses on the front line. These guys are stressed out. I'm sure your mom is stressed out at her work. I'm sure Sarah and Emily's mom gets a little stressed out at her work.
One of the other people that we don't talk about often, which are considered frontline heroes, were those grocery store workers.
Yep.
And those fast food people.
Yep.
And those Uber drivers.
Yep.
Through this entire pandemic,
I got them somewhere.
they've been dealing with
Come on.
the corona stuff, making sure that
Yeah.
we're okay,
Those are some of them.
making sure that we're okay at the cost of possibly their health.
Yep.
And it was a big deal for a while, and it still kind of is, but that's why it's important to thank everybody for the job that they do.
Yep.
Even delivery people.
Well, that's what
Yeah.
I did say Uber, but I
Like
meant
the
Uber Eats.
like the packages, like when they
Prime, yeah.
Yeah, this, like Mr. Doug said and like Andrew said, this phrase essential workers or frontline workers has really became something that the news people say a lot on TV throughout this year. Ever since,
The corona.
yeah,
The corona.
ever since Corona started in March, this phrase essential workers has become more and more popular. And he, like Mr. Doug said, it's for grocery store workers. It's the trash people, because everybody was at home. They're in quarantine, and I'm sure people got a lot of trash in their house, and somebody had to come pick up all the trash. It's the delivery drivers, yes. Thank you. I didn't get that. Thank you, Savannah. I didn't even get there yet, but you are absolutely right. Teachers. Teachers. Your teachers in your school right now, online or in person, Mr. Doug is an essential worker. Why? Because Mr. Doug works at a middle school. And he's there to help the junior hires or middle schoolers.
Yeah, and now they're like, we know how essential those teachers really are.
Yeah.
Because parents are at home going, I don't know how to do this.
That's right.
stuff.
Yeah.
What's this Common Core math?
Mr. Doug is there to help. And if he wasn't there, like he just said, the parents would be like, I don't know what's going on.
At my house, I don't like it.
I don't know how to do that. So thank you, Savannah. I didn't quite get there yet. But yes, teachers are essential workers. Yes.
Construction workers.
Construction workers, yeah, they're up there too. People who are fixing the roads. Michaela.
Moms and dads.
Yeah, I didn't even get there yet either. But yes, moms and dads are essential. Well, they are. They are. They are essential. I don't work there anymore. Essential workers. Your sister still is.
Said it with a straight face.
Yes, Jackson. Cops, yeah, absolutely. These are all essential workers, heroes who have helped us get us through 2020 in the whole. Huh?
Popeyes workers.
No.
That's the drive-through people.
Yes.
Detectives.
Detectives, yeah.
Detective Goldberg.
The detectives, all these people, yeah, are essential workers. Andrew said Popeyes because he likes their chicken sandwiches. I don't. So, yeah, but yeah, the restaurant,
We're making, but the point we're making
the
is
restaurant people.
that there's a lot of essential people out there
Yes,
to help us along.
yes.
Represent.
These are some missionary friends of mine, and they are missionaries to Japan, and I consider these guys to be essential workers.
He looks Asian.
To be, because he is, to be heroes, to be needed. Why? Because these guys and all the other missionaries take Jesus to countries who don't know about Jesus. And they take their Bibles and they preach the Bible. I keep on wanting to sit on that thing, but I don't want to fall.
I keep hearing it creak, and I'm
Yeah.
like,
These guys, missionaries, they preach the Bible to people who don't know about Jesus. And through these guys and other missionaries that I know, and even the missionaries I don't know, so many people invite Jesus to come into their life because somebody lays down their life to go to, and they really do, because they leave everything to go into some country that God tells them to go to And some of these countries are dangerous for them to be in. We're having church underground and have to hide because they could end up in jail.
Or worse.
Or worse, yes. So I consider missionaries essential people as well. So we have doctors and the paramedics and missionaries and police and firefighters. Another one is the United States military, whether it's the Coast Guard, the Marine Corps, the Navy, the Air Force, whatever it is. I mean, again, Mr. Doug, you were just saying, you spent some time serving our country because, who was that? Your dad did? Your grandpa? Yeah.
My great grandpa.
Yeah.
Grandma did it.
Yeah, your grandma did? Yeah, all these guys are essential too because these guys, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls,
My dad used to be
your daddy, Mr. Doug, Savannah's dad, Michaela's
Our
grandma, our grandpa, Elijah's great grandpa, all these men and women, boys and girls, all these men and women lay down their life again. Cousin? They lay down their life to fight for America, to keep America a free country. And they go to protect and keep people safe. I mean, we have Veterans Day coming up here in a little bit.
November.
Yes, November. So again, we're going to talk about how essential these men and women who serve in the whatever military branch they serve in, whatever they did or are doing it now, they are essential. They're heroes because they keep protecting America, or they protected America. So these are heroes. What time is it, Andrew? Noon? And he's already been preaching for a while, so I don't know
But
if
you
we'll have
can
time
come
for everything.
If you haven't, you got any more people on there?
No, I don't know if we're gonna have time for that because of technical
You have
issues.
the pastors on there. They're heroes.
Thank you. I didn't because I didn't want to make
Pastors are
I didn't want to
heroes.
pump myself up.
I want to say this.
Go ahead.
A lot of people don't think about it when we're in
Yeah.
church, how important the pastors are during a time of crisis. Because when 9/11 happened, the churches were packed. When the corona stuff happened, we were at our homes, but everybody was looking to people in the church, their pastors, for leadership.
I don't know if I have
guidance.
time for
Because,
that.
you know, when people have a spiritual need or if they think something bad's going to happen, the afterlife, they look to their pastor.
I don't know
It's a very important thing. Like Pastor Austin, he did those devotionals.
Sarah and Nick is amen.
Because just like our physical health is
He's
important, just like our well-being, our physical well-being is important, so too is our spiritual well-being. And the pastors are just as much essential and unsung heroes as many of the other ones he's already portrayed on that screen. I just wanted to say that.
No, they're getting up. I hear him walking. Thank you, Mr. Doug, for doing that. No, you're fine. So what I was going to do, but we had technical issues, and Pastor Buddy got up there early, and I heard moving around, so I don't know if we're doing communion right now or not. But I had a paramedic couple.
Band's not even
All right, well, we got all those other videos to do too. So,
Oh, Dr. Dave just got up.
see. I asked a paramedic couple and a veteran to send in some videos to all you guys, and we don't have time because of the technology issues, unfortunately, so maybe we'll show those next week. But I asked them, what advice would you give kids on how kids can be heroes? And they said, yeah, Pastor Buddy's getting loud. So they said that kids can be heroes. Did you guys know you could be heroes?
Yep. I'm one of the strongest kids.
There you go. Well, I'm not quite talking about being strong, and like because I was going to show this video clip too, but again, because if they're already getting ready to do communion, we're running out of time. And VeggieTales, because y'all know I love VeggieTales. They did a Pirates Who Don't Do Anything movie, and at the end of that, there was a character who played a king, and he said to the pirates who don't do anything, who nobody thought were serious, who nobody thought could be heroes. He said, listen, a hero is not always the strongest. It's not always the smartest. It's not always the best looking.
They're not always
They're not always whatever else you want to add. They don't always have powers. But what this character said in this VeggieTale movie is that a hero is somebody who, no matter what, tries their best to do what is right. And so for you boys and girls, as you're getting ready to go back to school, whether it's in person or online or whatever it may be, you can look for ways to do what is right. And like Mr. Doug said when we talk about that verse, not being so selfish about what I want, but lay down what you want so that you can help somebody get what they want or what would be better for them. Because these people who we've talked about today are not selfish people. They do what is right the best they can. It can be hard to do. But that's what makes them heroes. So whether it's for a friend at school, maybe it's sitting by the new kid at school if you have a new kid, like Darren and Afina started a new school this year, or maybe it's helping out your, or maybe it's helping out at home with your siblings or something. But that is how to be a hero. And here's the thing, boys and girls, being a hero can be hard, and it sometimes it will be hard, like these police, firefighters, paramedics, doctors, nurses, teachers, military personnel, even pastors, parents, it can be a tough job to do. But we have a God who is there to help all of us, and who is there to let us know that the help we need to be the hero that He wants us to be, He's there to help us. He's not going to say, all right, I want you to go be a hero in this way and just figure it out on your own. That's not how He is. He's always going to be there to help. Just like all these people we've talked about have their equipment. I mean, we talked about the firefighters for a minute. They have all their protective equipment. Officers and military personnel and doctors and nurses and paramedics, they have their equipment. Teachers have the supplies they need. Parents have experience and supplies they need. But we always have God to help us out and give us the guidance we need. So before we pray, I'm going to shake it up. Actually, no, I shouldn't do that song. You know what song. The ending song I told you we were going to do at the end. Should I do it before we pray or after we pray?
What are you trying to do?
You know exactly what I'm talking about. We're going to pray. We're going to pray because I don't know what it is going to do when we play this song. So, we're going to pray first. So we're going to pray. We're going to take a minute and we are going to pray over all these people we talked about. We talked about officers. We talked about firefighters. We talked about doctors, nurses, paramedics. We talked about military personnel. We talked about parents and even grandparents, but we're going to talk more about grandparents next week. We talked about teachers. And we talked about the pastors. So, this is what I want to do. I want to do it this way. Because I could pray for all these people, and I have prayed for all these people. But I want us to pray for them together. So let me ask this. Who wants to pray for who? I mean, everybody's going to get a chance because we have all these people to pray for who are heroes, who lay down their life for people. I want all of us to just kind of take this moment just to think about them and pray for them. So, Michaela, who would you be willing to pray over? It can be one group, it can be two groups, it can be whatever.
My mom, because she gave up her life. She could have died giving birth to me, but she took her life.
All right, so you're going to pray for parents and grandparents, okay?
Keep going.
You're going to pray for parents and grandparents. Anybody else? Want to pray for a group of heroes that we talked about?
There.
I mean, I'll just start asking people to do it if I have to. Emily?
Want my grandma to get out of heaven.
Okay, that's a prayer request. That's not quite what we're talking about right now. Let me see. Elijah?
Police.
All right, can you pray for the firefighters too? Police and fire for me? Who wants to pray for Sarah? Can you do me a favor? Can you pray for all the hospital people, including your mom, but all the hospital people and all the doctors and nurses and all the ambulance drivers? Can you pray for them for me?
My mom had surgery.
Okay, so you got parents and grandparents. Elijah, you got police and fire.
Her elbow.
Sarah, you got everybody medical. Okay, Jackson, you want to pray for a group? Okay, how about you pray? Who do you want to pray for? We have teachers and pastors left. Pastors, okay. And then who wants to pray? You want to pray for teachers? Really quick. Doesn't have to be long. All right, Sarah, Savannah's got the teachers, okay? And then I'll pray at the end. All right? So,
What is he got?
Michaela, go ahead and start us off, okay? Go ahead and start praying for parents and grandparents for us.